What's going on, guys? This is Miasin. I'm going to show you guys my updated KOZMO deck profile after the ban list. So all we really got was the second copy of Emergency Teleport, but I think this deck is actually really fun. It's the kind of deck you can bring to your locals and maybe have a good experience, because even though it's not the most competitive, KOZMO Dark Destroyer is still a force to be reckoned with. And obviously post game 1 you can start playing those really dangerous floodgate cards like Dimension Shifter, Macro Cosmos, D-Fisher, oh my god, they're all the same. But yeah, before we get into the analysis, make sure you like and subscribe. Now let's jump right into it. So of course, 3 Dark Destroyer, obviously, you always want to max out the amount of copies that you get to play. With Dark Destroyer, it used to be like $200. It was ridiculous. But now it's super affordable because, man, the power creep is just absolutely disgusting. Yo, just try to think about it. Right now, we're 2021 moving into 2022. In like 2015, 2016, whatever, Dark Destroyer was literally like a towers. Even better, maybe, because on top of not being able to be targeted and floating when it gets destroyed, it would actually destroy a monster on the field upon summon. And obviously, all of your pilot monsters can summon your ships. So that's kind of how we call it, how we call them. In case you're kind of new to the KOZMO strategy, you know, the pilots are like the very small KOZMO monsters that always have that effect to tag out into higher level monsters. Not necessarily ships. A pilot can tag out into another pilot as long as, you know, the monster that you're tagging out into has a higher level. So Tin Can go into Strawman, and yeah, Strawman can go into Farm Girl into Wicked Witch, or just directly into a big ship. But Dark Lady is actually the only pilot that's level 5 or higher, so can't be normal summoned. And obviously, the pilot monsters, they're all very similar in the way that they don't have effects when they're destroyed, and the ships, they all have very nice effects when they're destroyed. Banish the ship from your deck to the grave to do something. So the ships that we are playing, they special summon from the deck. The level of the monster -1 or lower from the deck to the field. And the Forerunner, again, following the same logic as Dark Destroyer, but this time it's a level 7. Just like Dark Destroyer, it can't be targeted by card effects, but this time, unfortunately, it doesn't have the best effect. That's why it's only a 1-of. Slip Rider, you can almost argue that it's actually better than Forerunner, because this at least does something on the summon, but unfortunately it can still be targeted by card effects, so it's not ideal. And then of course Dark Lady, Wicked Witch. There's also a good witch that you get to play. This is like a Book of Moon, but not quick effect, slow once per turn. And the Wicked Witch, basically you can pay 1000 life points and make it indestructible by battle or by card effect until the rest of the turn. So sometimes it does come up, and the Dark Lady has a really nice effect where you can negate monster effects and destroy. So this is just an extra interruption. So sometimes when you go Tin Can on end phase, you get maybe Dark Destroyer, Dark Lady, and Forerunner. 2 of them are going to go to the grave. The other one is going to go to your hand. So if you have back to the front, you can ensure that you probably have, you know, Dark Lady and Dark Destroyer access, which is great. And then Farm Girl is the best one when it actually resolves, but when it doesn't really do anything. So essentially, when it deals damage, you can pay 500 life point and search any KOZMO card from your deck to your hand. That includes KOZMO Town and KOZMO Joe. So it's not just your KOZMO monsters, but for the most part, you will be searching Dark Destroyer, because it's really, really good, of course. And then 2 Strawmen. This is one of the most combo-heavy oriented KOZMO monster out there. So you can special summon one of your banished KOZMO monster, but destroy it during the end phase, and its effects are negated. Now, destroying your level, your big monster KOZMO monsters is actually a really good thing, because you can revive back the Slip Rider, Forerunner, or Dark Destroyer from your banished, and then during the end phase it's gonna die and summon your Tin Can, which is gonna get another search. So Strawman often gets you to Tin Can, which gets you to another card, which is probably going to be, you know, one of these big ships or Dark Lady for an extra interruption. So Strawman is a fantastic card post turn 1. Farm Girl, it used to be kind of good when the game was slower, because you could reliably just clear the board with like Dark Hole, Regeki, another form of mass removal, and then just deal damage and win. But now it resolves less and less, but it's still a good E-Tally target. And then of course 3, Tin Can. This is the best card when you can actually, you know, when you need it for turn 1, because the other KOZMO monsters, they kind of need a bit more setup, like Strawman. You can't really use it turn 1 the majority of the time, except if you play stuff like Allure of Darkness or other cards that allow you to get your cards in the banished. But Tin Can, it's just absolutely great on your turn 1, so it's the best KOZMO monster to open up early on. And then of course we can play either Pot of Extravagance or Pot of Prosperity. I don't think it changes that much, but you kind of want to have multiple cards in your hand when you are playing KOZMO instead of necessarily one card that does a lot, because it's not like a combo deck, right? And it's also not like Altergeist where your hand doesn't matter if you don't have Multi-Faker. I don't think there's like an equivalent of Multi-Faker in the KOZMO deck. I guess like Tinkan and Italy are probably the closest things to Multi-Faker for the KOZMO deck, but still not quite there yet. And then 4 copies of KOZMO Town because it is a field spell, so Terraforming can search it. 2 Italy, of course, thanks to the new ban list. 3 Imperm, 3 Back to the Front, which I believe is a bit better than Call of the Haunted and Oasis of the Dragon Souls. Now, Back to the Front is a normal trap card, so it is a trap trick target. It is not once per turn, and also, even if your opponent goes like MST, you know, chain to like your Call of the Haunted, well, if you go Call of the Haunted and your opponent chains MST, the Call of the Haunted would not resolve, but the Back to the Front doesn't care at all, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be face up, like staying on the field in order to successfully revive back a monster from the grave. So this just has higher chances of resolving. The one issue, I guess, is that it only revives back monsters in defense. I don't know, I feel like it really doesn't matter, because even if your Dark Destroyer has like less defense than attack, it's still going to be able to pop, and when it gets destroyed, it still floats into another monster. So I think Back to the Front is definitely better than Oasis and Call. But yeah, Call of the Trap Trick, of course, with 3 Punishment, 2 Cosmojo because I wanted to become a Trap Trick target instead of just playing 1. 3, there can only be 1, which is great. It's such a good floodgate in this deck. You have your Psychic and your Machines. Pretty much it. So you only really need 1 Psychic and 1 Machine on the field at the time in order to win the game. Never really more. You can just sit on Dark Destroyer with a bunch of trap cards, and that's way more than enough to win. Yeah, 3 Solemn Strike, fantastic card, really like it, better than Imperm. And for the extra deck, the majority of it is an absolute joke, because we don't really go into the extra deck. It's just, you know, a bunch of cards that you send for Dragma Punishment, and I guess if your opponent goes like Invoked, not Invoked, man, Dragma Maximus, you get to send cards from your extra deck as well, but apart from that, it doesn't really come up. For the idea and potential side deck cards, Dimension Shifter, post-game 1, I already kind of explained it at the very beginning. Cosmo Good Witch, which is the Slow Book of Moon. Ghost Ash, with Ghost Reaper, I already made a video featuring this card, you know, and all of its potential targets, so if you want your extra deck to kind of have a lot of Ghost Reaper targets, you definitely could be doing that instead. Card of Demise, but it's at 1, so it's actually way less good now. Prosperity and Duality, if you really want to play like Card of Demise as well, and just not really special summon on turn 1, but you are going to have to cut on a lot of your KOZMO monsters, so I don't know if it's necessarily optimal. Yeah, MST, so you can actually pop your own KOZMO Town. It's actually better than Cosmic Cyclone. It really is important to have the ability to destroy your own KOZMO Town. The reason, by the way, why Dragma Punishment is so good is because you get to destroy an opponent's monster while also sending the Entis to either destroy another opponent's card or destroy your own KOZMO Town. So KOZMO Town plus Trap Trick actually gets your engine started. And you could also be playing Heavy Storm Duster as well. At least 2 copies, like I said, so you can always, you know, set it with Trap Trick. Also, Play Unending Nightmare is a great card. Just a lot of Cyber Dragon Trap cards, well, Cyber Dragon Trap tech cards that I'm showing you guys, but yeah. Super Poly D Fisher, this time I have it right. Mystic Mine, Torrential Tribute, a great card because if you Torrential, or while you have ships on the field, it can actually help you. And yeah, Macrocosmos, that's pretty much it. So I really hope you guys were able to enjoy and learn a thing or two. Make sure you like and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.